For fans of Amy Winehouse, Lady Gaga, or Kali Uchis, today's guest is making an impact with music one song at a time. Please welcome Lily Forte to Televised magazine. How's your morning going so far?
It's going great. I had my coffee. I went to a Pilates class, so I've
Okay.
been busy this morning.
So you've had an eventful morning and it's only 11 a.m. for you and we're recording this. That's crazy. You're
Exactly.
off
I've
to
been
a
trying to be productive in the mornings these days.
yeah. Um and one thing that kept me productive this morning was listening to your new song Miles to Go, which fans can listen to right now. It's out for people to hear around the world, and it's jazzy. It's a mix of modern and throwback sounds. How did this new song come to be?
Well, I've touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to make, I tend to write very sad, somber music
Hmm.
normally. So I wanted to make something a little more exciting. And it's kind of inspired by it touches on a little bit about work imbalances in the entertainment industry and power imbalances. I wasn't really happy at a job I was working at, and I don't know, I just was kind of fueled by a little bit of anger, and I wrote this song with one of my really, really close friends, Jamie Gelman, and we just always have fun, and we were just, I don't know, chatting in a session, and it kind of came to life.
Yeah, and it sounds as if as you're saying it, it came together very quickly. It sounds collaborative. It sounds um like a group effort to bring this information to light, talk about these injustices without maybe delving into anything too personal that maybe wouldn't want to be revealed. Have you dealt with any of those like power imbalances in the music industry, especially we're both early 20s. Um, and a lot of people in the industry are older and more powerful than us. Have you dealt with that personally at all?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it on the nose with that one. I think it's really important to remember no matter what age you are, the value you can bring into a room. And I think sometimes other people might not feel that way and they like to vocalize that. But I think if you remember what you bring to the table and, as long as you're prepared, I think it doesn't matter what age you are. There's always something anyone can add to a conversation or a workplace. So I think that's really important to talk about.
Hmm. And the music video is also out, and I love it. It looks like something out of the film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ooh,
Um,
yes. I
and
honestly I didn't even get that reference initially, but I
yeah,
like that a lot.
yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, and it furthers the song's theme of calling out those power imbalances. Whose idea was it for the music video, and what was it like shooting it?
Yes. So definitely also very collaborative. When I was working with Jamie on the song, we were in the session and because one of the lyrics I say, it's a fake paradise, that
Mhm.
Miller High Life. And Jamie had pulled up like a vintage Miller High Life ad and it was really cool. And so we kind of did a deep dive on that. And I had collaborated with two amazing directors on the video, Marielle and SJ, and I showed them that vintage ad and they kind of ran with it. And SJ actually painted those backdrops that you see
Oh
in the
wow.
video,
So they
which
were
is
hand done?
yes, which
That's
is so
crazy.
cool. I mean, the experience on set was just so fun. Like I don't know, it's I was acting in a way like, I mean, true to life experiences somewhat like,
Hmm.
embellished upon a little bit, but like it was fun. We had Chris is his name, the actor in the video, and we were just like being very silly and it was really fun and totally leans into the vintage vibe that I just adore always. So, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of that vintage vibe, you talk the talk in your songs with a lot of Amy Winehouse influence in the sound, but you also kind of walk the walk with it aesthetically, with that like Hollywood glamour look, the sort of timeless appeal to that. Is that your like day-to-day fashion aesthetic, or is it part of the musical journey?
I would say definitely day to day as well. I mean, I've always loved getting dolled up and being glamorous, but I think there's a duality to my artistic persona and just me as Lily
Hmm.
myself. Um, I love really girly, fun sides of life, but then I
Yeah.
also love the more rock and roll, dark, grittier side. So, I mean, today I'm like wearing like a white dress, but some days I like to wear all black and be a little more emo, I guess. So it's a little bit of both, I would say.
Yeah, how do you decide what to separate from Lily who's walking down the street to Lily who's writing these songs, you know?
I think for me it's pretty tied together because so much of my music, I mean, anyone making art, there's personal ties to it, of
Hmm.
course, but
Yeah.
like for me, the way I make my coffee in the morning is art, and the way that I go about my day is art, and I incorporate that into my music. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah,
No,
like
no, it does, yeah.
yeah, I try to just live my life in an artistic way. You know, like the glassware and the plates at my house are all like cherry themed, and I
Hmm.
love that. And that's a part of my aesthetic and who I am. So just finding the beauty in everything, whether it's small or big.
Yeah. So you've curated a nice vibe and aesthetic for yourself, not just in what you wear and the music you make, but like the world around you. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that's totally what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Too short.
Uh,
Like, use the fancy stuff, you know?
hmm. That's really cool to hear because it makes the music like just knowing that information, it makes the music to me feel more lifelike, knowing that it's a large extension of you and not just an extension of your art, but your life in general, you know?
Totally. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you mentioned the vintage Miller High Life ad earlier, and the logo for the song that people will see on the album art is resembling that old school beer logo. Who came up with that idea?
So, a good friend of mine, Julia McKay, I've been working with her on a lot for this. She shot the cover art. She was on that was taken on set on the
Okay.
same day the music video. But it was a mix of, you know, all the directors and Julia, and we just kind of like, I don't know, we didn't want to make it too exact, I guess, but we did our
Yeah,
interpretation of
didn't want to open yourself up to any recourse from
don't want to
large
get in
corporations.
trouble. No, we did not. So
But
yes.
it helps encapsulate that vibe, at least to me, that
Yeah,
it
it
you know
does.
helps it stand apart and adds to that sort of older aesthetic. This is your first release of 2025, but it's not
Yeah.
your first release in general. You've been making music since 2021. How did you get your start in music?
Yeah, I love this question. I have been singing my entire life since I was 8 years old. Um, I really have to thank my mom for everything. She saw the spark in me and put me in singing lessons, and then I started diving into every instrument that was available. I was learning saxophone and guitar and the drums and all of those, all the instruments that were there. I was trying
Yeah,
to learn. And then I started writing songs at 12 and you know, just about my crushes at school or whatever it might be. But I would say when I was 18, yes, when I was 18, I started making music with a really good hometown friend. His name is Dylan Thomas, who's an amazing artist as well. And I released my first song, I Was Wearing Green, which I believe was at the end of 2020.
hmm.
So yeah, it's been a journey. And I think the progression is cool to see, especially for people who've been around since the beginning. I think I feel a little more free to say what's on my mind these
Yeah.
days.
And with this being your first release of 2021, have there been any more songs potentially written over the course of this last year that might be turned into full releases down the line?
Yes, I've spent the last year writing my debut album.
Okay.
I've had two EPs come out
Hmm.
so far, but this album has been honestly every single I've been putting so much into this album and
Yeah.
I'm genuinely like I just can't stop smiling when I talk about it because I'm very excited for people to hear it. It's been a journey to get here, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, getting your first album out is, I've heard I think I heard it in relation to Hozier's music a couple years ago, but you have your whole life up to the first album to write the first album. You know, there might be songs in there that you wrote 5 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever. But then after that first album, you only have a couple years to make the second or whatever it is. So it's like the culmination of the first part of your musical career to be making this album.
Yeah, that's a
What's
great way to think about
Yeah,
it.
what's that been like just from I mean, obviously we'll only talk about what you want to share since I'm imagining the album is not public info yet. But what's it
Yes.
been like working towards that goal?
Like I said a little bit before, it's taken me a long time to arrive at the type of writer that I am
Hmm.
that I've been over the last few months. I think in a way I've had to just I don't think I was afraid to speak my mind before, but maybe I just wasn't, maybe I was holding back a little bit, not
Yeah.
even trying to, but just naturally I started writing music so young. But I think over, I've fallen in love, I've had my heart broken.
Hmm.
I've been super happy and I've had a lot of faith, and then I've lost faith and vice and back and forth. So I
Yeah.
think it's taken a while to arrive at the writer that I've been over the last few months. So I'm excited to for everyone to hear what I've been talking
Yeah,
about.
those life experiences are all going to come together, and then everybody will be able to hear it very, very soon. But of course, miles to go. You can hear it
Yeah,
right now. One more plug for that song. Another question.
thank you.
I mentioned a few names in the intro, Amy Winehouse, Kali Uchis. But who, if anybody, has inspired the modern throwback sound that you've created for yourself?
Totally. Growing up, my favorite band ever was Led Zeppelin.
Okay,
I
excellent choice.
love I love
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin so much. I also love The Doors, and I love Jeff Buckley and Carole King, Neil Young. Oh my gosh, I mean the list goes on.
yeah.
However, I really have my parents to thank for showing me such good music at a young age.
Hmm.
That totally shaped that side for me. But yeah, I mean, I love a good girly fun song, so that's why I try to incorporate some of the modern elements, which is always a fun challenge.
Yeah, and that's I think part of what when the idea of doing an interview was sent along to me is what made it stand out was yes, there's this old school flair, but there's also this like Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan-ish influence sitting in and around it that makes it stand out, you know, because it's
Thank
modern,
you.
but it's not. It's old school, but it's not. It creates a really unique vibe that everybody should go hear.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a huge, I mean, that's what my goal is. I always say like bring rock and roll back in a way, but it's not,
Yeah.
I worry sometimes that it's dying, that rock and roll is dying. So
Yeah,
I
I can kind of agree with that. I like to get over the jitters of that by telling myself music is cyclical and it'll all come back. But I do like pop music is focused on the next generation. Chappell Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, Addison Rae had a big album this year, Charlie XCX. Whereas rock is, you don't really hear about new up and coming rock bands in the same way, you know. But on the contrary, rock is more leaning on the older acts. Neil Young is still touring, Pearl Jam's still around, Metallica's still going. Every third local rock band that you see is a Led Zeppelin heavily influenced act, you know. Um, but I think the more we see artists incorporate rock into their pop or jazzy works, the more it kind of influences that cycle to come back around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with everything. I totally agree. Bring back rock and roll.
Yeah, bring back Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. I'm wearing this shirt. Bring back
Oh, I didn't even see that because it was
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, it
amazing.
was cut off.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
I grew up listening to a lot of the same artists you mentioned, and it's shaped my taste a lot. It's weird because nowadays I have an appreciation for everything, but I can't really shake what I grew up listening to, you know? Like no matter what, I'm
Oh,
always going to come back to Guns N' Roses, even if I was just listening to Lady Gaga an hour ago.
oh, same. My playlist is Mostly, probably 90% old songs. Maybe
Yeah.
the 10% is new songs. So
Well, while I was prepping for this interview and getting all the questions ready, I have a tablet over there connected to my speaker setup that's got like a 30-hour playlist of just older rock songs. I think there's
my
maybe like
gosh,
5 or 10 songs from this decade on there. So
you'll have to share that one because I
yeah.
that's sick.
It's insanely long. I just leave it on as like background noise and let it loop sometimes, but it's got
Totally.
all the favorites and everything I grew up listening to. One artist you mentioned that I do need to get more into is Carole King.
Ooh,
I'm not the
yes.
most familiar, but you're giving me something more to listen to, which brings us to the end. Before we get to the last question, where can fans find you on social media?
Everywhere on socials, Lily Forte is my name, and be on the lookout. There's a lot of exciting stuff coming.
Yeah, there's a lot coming. And the last question, the one I end every interview with, kind of ties back into why I just mentioned Carole King, is what are your three favorite songs at the moment? Like if I asked you, your best friend, your parent, or if you're walking down the street and a stranger was like, "What are you listening to?" What three songs could you say?
Hmm. What's been on repeat for me? Let's think.
Yeah. Like if you went to your Spotify on repeat, what's going to
Am I
be
allowed
up
to
there?
do that or do I have to
Yeah,
go
yeah,
off?
you can. Yeah, you can.
Okay, because this will help because it's hard to think right off the bat, I
No,
will
you're good. I
say.
I ask everybody this question, and some of them are rapid firing stuff. Some of them are, pulling up their Spotify or their Apple Music. Some of them are telling me the records they just bought.
Okay.
It opens a lot of musical doors. Okay, what are your answers?
Okay, so this is funny. Kashmir Live. I think
Okay,
it's what is
from the
this one?
new EP.
1979.
Yeah, they just put out that like four
Did
song
you just
EP.
yes, the live EP.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
yeah.
the live
I've
EP.
also listened to that version. It's a very good
Okay,
version.
that version of Kashmir is insane. I've
Yep,
been obsessed
Trampled
with
Underfoot
that.
is really really good on that
Um,
EP too.
I need to check that out.
Yeah,
I
you should.
love how
Yeah,
much you love Led Zeppelin. This is amazing.
great.
Um,
I have an
okay,
iPod on
it's
the
all
other
over
side of my
now,
room with.
baby.
Sorry, I was
Sorry, I
rambling
think
about
there's a
Led
delay.
Zeppelin. I was rambling about Led Zeppelin. You're good.
It's okay. It's all over now, Baby Blue by the Animals, or their cover of it, I
hmm
guess. And then total different, Pins and Needles by Nessa Barrett. I've really been
Okay.
enjoying.
I know the Animals.
Uh,
I, of course, know Led Zeppelin. With Nessa Barrett, I know the name. I could not tell you a single song. So that's part of why I asked this question, is to give myself new stuff to listen
yes,
to.
it's really good. You should check it out.
Yeah. Thank you once again for joining me. I had so much fun recording this.
Thank you. You're awesome. I loved our
Of
music
course.
chat.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you everybody for watching. You can stream Miles to Go now. Follow Lily on social media because there's a lot of stuff coming, maybe more singles, an album in the future, and you can go check it all out on her pages now. And make sure if you have not subscribed yet to Televised Magazine, do so, hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Thank you. Bye.